Okay, this should be a quick video, but I'm not going to totally delve into the symbolisms behind the air sign glyphs because there are many. But I just want to remind you that I think sometimes we can get into like the complexities of astrology and just forget that if you just take a look at the image representing a sign or the glyph, there's a lot of symbolism there that you can pick up on. And also, I just want to explain this one thing about all three air glyphs, which I just haven't ever heard talked about. I'm sure I'm not the first person who's noticed this, but I just haven't heard anyone else talk about it at all. And it's just a connection that I made on my own. So it's just something I want to share. So when we look at the three air sign glyphs, I'll just say it. So something I noticed in all three is that they're all made of two lines. And that might sound like trivial, but I think there's a deeper meaning there. Um, and it's most obvious in Gemini because Gemini is like a Roman numeral 2. And so you could get technical and say it's like 4 lines, but it's a Roman numeral 2, and it's about these two pillars of, the two twins, or the two sides to things, the polarity of it, and the contrast between two different things. But yeah, it's two things. So it's contrasting two things, and I'll get into more about that in a second. But the same is true for Libra and Aquarius. So Libra is obviously 2 lines, which is supposed to represent the setting sun, the sun over the horizon setting, and it's also meant to be sort of a bridge between left and right, between one person and another. It's like a bridge. But if you just look at the glyph literally, it's made of 2 lines. And then same with Aquarius, it's supposed to be the waves of the water bearer. But again, why did they choose two wave lines instead of 1 or 3? And again, I think there's a deeper pattern there. And the deeper pattern is, I think air in general is about duality and polarity. And that's different from, especially like if you look at the fire signs, which oppose the air signs. Fire is all about singularity and I don't want to say collectivism, but it's unity. It's just one thing. It's simple. It's just it's very clear cut, very simple. It's just one thing, especially with Aries, but also Leo and Sagittarius. And when you go to, and it's all about more the self, the ego. It's more about whatever it's about. It's just that. It's very simple. With air, Gemini is about communication, but it's about communication between one person and another. So it's the stage of consciousness where you realize, oh, there's other people out there and they're conscious too, and I can use words to express my thoughts to them. And so it's not just about me, or it's not just about the self. It's about the self and other, and the dynamic between that, the interplay between multiple parts. And then Libra is also very obvious. It's supposed to be about relationships and one-on-one partnerships or relationship dynamics. So again, it's about self and other, and air signs in general can be. I talked about this in the videos I've made for Sun, Gemini, Moon, Libra, and Sun, Libra, Moon, Gemini. But air signs can be, I've just noticed they could be like especially with how talkative they are, they can be the most talkative and the least talkative. The most shy, quiet people I've known were air signs. They were Geminis. They were, especially Gemini and Libra, I think, more so than Aquarius. But whenever someone was really talkative and I would try to guess their sign, they would always be either air or maybe fire. But again, that's just an example of, air signs can be so active and so active with their environments, but they can also be so kind of cut off and isolated and just observe it. And so again, I think it's just a theme that's not really always talked about, where you have complexity and a polarity. And Aquarius I also want to talk about, because I think this is something that is most misunderstood with Aquarius, and it applies not only to Aquarius individuals, people with Aquarius in their charts, but also to the age of Aquarius, where people think, is Aquarius about, like, Aquarius is about uniqueness and being weird and different, supposedly, and that would be more like the self, not the group, but then it's also ruling the group and group dynamics. And so which is it? Is it self-interest or is it collectivism? Because those are two very different things. They're very opposite things. But really it's more complex than that. It's the interplay, again, kind of like Gemini and Libra, it's the interplay of the self with other people or other aspects of the environment. So Aquarius is about the group, but it's about, or I guess you could say like Gemini is about friends and siblings, but more specifically the interplay and relationship dynamics of the self with friends, siblings, neighbors. Libra is about relationships and romantic partners, but more specifically, it's about the interplay between the self and, one-on-one relationships, between the self and, a partner in whatever capacity. Aquarius is about groups, but more specifically, it's about the interplay between the self and the group. So how does everyone maintain and express their individuality and their uniqueness, but in a way which not only maintains the strength of the group, but also like enriches it, and ultimately that's what you need to make a group or an organization function the most effectively, is for everyone to be utilizing their unique gifts to benefit the group. And so that's where it gets kind of complex and nuanced. But when people talk about what the age of Aquarius would look like, some people say it's just about collectivism, where we're all just in a hive mind, and other people say it's more about individuality. But again, it's not that simple. There's duality here, and so really it's about both. It's about how do we all unite together and come to a common agreement to function the most highly as a group, but while maintaining and expressing all of our unique gifts and eccentricities. So anyway, that's just something I thought you could see in the glyphs and something kind of interesting. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you later.